In Python, a sequence is a collection of objects ordered by their position. In Python, there are three basic sequences, which are lists, tuples, and so-called range objects. But Python also has additional sequence types for representing things like strings. The crucial aspect about sequences is that any sequence data type will support the common sequence operations. But in addition, these different types will have their own methods available for performing specific operations. Sequences are called sequences because the objects that they contain form a sequence. So let's look at this as a diagram. Imagine that this is our sequence, and we have a few different objects in our sequence here, triangles, squares, and circles in this example. The first fundamental aspect to understand about sequences is that indexing starts at 0. So if we call this sequence S, we would access the first element in our sequence by typing S and in brackets putting its location, which is 0. This object here in the second position would be addressed and accessed as S bracket 1 and so on. This would be S2, 3, and 4. Another way to access objects within the sequence is not to count from left to right, but from right to left. So we can access sequences either by giving a positive index, which is counting locations from the left to right, or we can use a negative index, which is counting positions from right to left. In that case, we have to use the -1 for the very last object in our sequence. Correspondingly, -2 would correspond to the second to last object, and so on. Sequences also support an operation called slicing. So let's take a look at that now. If we again have our sequence S, to access a specific unit, specific object, we would just use the location, for example 2 in this case. However, if we wanted to extract multiple objects in the sequence, we can do the following. We can say S bracket, say 0, 2. This first index, the first position, is the start position, and the second position here is the stop position. Python slices stop before Python reaches the element at the stop location. This means that if you type S and in brackets 0:2, Python is going to return a slice to you which consists of the objects in location 0 and 1, but it will not return to you the object at location 2.